Possibly the best we can get. Possibly the best we can get. Hello, hello. How are you guys? I'm going to try to sit really still in my chair because it likes to squeak in my videos. How are you guys? Hello, hello. Tonight I am coming with a topic. If you are new to me, welcome. I'm Cornisha. I'm an entrepreneurship coach, and I coach women and men through the process of starting their businesses. I teach them the entrepreneurship skill set, and I teach them how to navigate life personally and professionally. Of course, we all want and are entitled to the life that we desire. We want a certain lifestyle, and we all feel entitled to that lifestyle. And to a certain extent, we are. However, it's important for us to prepare. It's important for us to honor the process of actually achieving that lifestyle, attaining that lifestyle, sacrificing for that ideal lifestyle, and learning how to maneuver and balance so that we can actually get the things that we desire from life. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. This is a community to where we teach and uplift one another. Entrepreneurship is tough. It's lonely, and here I like to provide support because we need it. Okay. So with that being said, I have my notes in front of me. Unfortunately, I have to bounce back and forth between screens. But it's okay. It's okay. We do what we have to do around here. We do what we have to do. So with that being said, we're going to get started. Of course, like I say, primarily I teach people how to think so they can navigate life smoothly. As we all know, life is no walk in the park. It's not easy. So with that being said, I know what the process of entrepreneurship is like. From the moment it's a thought in your mind to the moment you're actually planning, strategizing, and executing. So outside of my paid clients, I provide virtual support to the aspiring entrepreneurs that haven't just yet taken that leap of faith. Entrepreneurs, just like anyone else, we need reassurance, support, and a community to safely be the people that we are. We're different. We're different. We go against the grain. We have courage. We sacrifice. We do research. We're scientists. So with that being said, honor us. I want to create a community to where we honor us in the way that we all deserve. So, sacrifice. Sacrifice within itself is the concept of giving up one's own interest or wishes in order to help yourself, others, or advance a cause. Again, sacrifice within itself is the concept of giving up your own wishes, desires, preferences for the betterment of yourself, someone else, or a cause. So with that, it's exciting because if we think about it, anything we do in life is either for us, for someone else, or to help a cause. Example, if we get dressed and we want to look a certain way when we leave home, that's great and all. We do that for us, but we also do that for others to portray ourselves in the way that we like to be received. And we also do it because we want to attract the people that are for us, right? So we do it for us and someone else. So if that's the case and that's the concept, we realize anything and everything can require sacrifice. Anything and everything we do is for us or somebody else or a cause. So because of that, everything requires sacrifice. Everything. And sometimes that's where we can fall short by not honoring the fact that everything requires sacrifice, right? So now that we've come into this newfound understanding, it's up to us to be intentional about not planning, executing, and tackling our goals like it's a weekly project, because that's not what it is. It's no weekly project. Life is a process. Anything worth having, worth sacrificing for, Most of the time, you can't get it overnight. So because of that, it's a process. And it's important for us to approach life like it's a process and not our project. We don't just do it. Oh, I'm going to clean out the closet this week. I'm cleaning my closet. That's my project for the week. Life's no project. You can't handle it in 3 days and move forward and assume that the problem is over. That's not how it works. And a lot of times that's what hinders us. That's what can hinder us when we're navigating life personally or professionally. When you're in the workplace, sometimes you don't sacrifice to actually stand out from the rest of your team. When you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you don't sacrifice to maintain the image of CEO. You want to look like the workers that's living their best lives. No, we're the CEO. We wear different hats. We have a different persona. We have different standards, and we have to act accordingly and hold ourselves as such, right? So because of that, sacrifice and submission or surrendering to the process for what it is, that's what'll set us apart. That's what'll set us apart. And it's important for us to be intentional. It's important for us to be intentional about sacrificing. Again, we're giving up the desires, the preferences, and the wishes of ourselves for the betterment of someone else. And if you think about it, entrepreneurship requires sacrifice. That's for you and someone else. Growth requires sacrifice. That's for you and someone else. Getting that promotion requires sacrifice. That's for you and your dependents, someone else. Starting a family, saving money, traveling, living a life of purpose, health and fitness. All of those are common examples of goals, desires, and they all require sacrifice. They all requiring surrendering to a specific process so that we can actually attain that desire. So as we see, many of our common desires require for us to sacrifice for them. We live in a society that pretends we can have it all at little to no costs. That's not the case. Let me please allow for me to shift that narrative. That's not the case. I'm sorry, y'all. This angle is bothering me. It's bothering me, okay? It's the first of the year. Who's drinking water? Real quick break. Who's drinking water? Who's on it? Who's doing what they're supposed to do? Because this is my lemon water. As y'all see, the color's a little tainted. So this is lemon water. Who's doing what they're supposed to do? Because in our season of sacrifice and surrendering to the process to attain all of our desired goals, you got to surrender. You got to sacrifice. You have to be disciplined. Who stuck to their goals this far this year? Put it in the comments. No matter whether you're catching this live, no matter whether you're catching the replay, when you see this video, when you see this moment, comment whether or not you stuck to your goals, whether or not you've wavered in your goals, why you wavered in your goals. This is a community. Let's each one teach one. That's what they say, right? Each one teach one. So because of that, let's support one another and be honest, be transparent, and help. Have you guys stuck to your goals? Oh, that was so good. Excuse me. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Starting now, we must shift our mindset to believing that you must work and sacrifice for the things you desire. We have to embody and embrace that new mindset. It's time to sacrifice for what we desire. Anything I desire, I need to sacrifice for. You can't want a relationship and continue to be selfish every day. You can't want to start a family and party every day. You can't want to lose weight and eat pizza every single day. It does not work like that. It doesn't. So because of that, it's time out. It's time out for us not being intentional about what we want, assessing the requirements, assessing our skill set, and replenishing ourselves in all the areas that we have deficiencies or all the areas that we lack, so that we can actually be who we're called to be and do what we're called to do and accomplish that dream, that goal, that desire. Sorry, guys. My notifications come to my phone and my laptop, so of course they're going. Sacrificing a season. It's important for us to sacrifice. And I kind of went ahead of my notes, which I have a bad habit of doing. But in going ahead in my notes, I revealed the steps to sacrificing. So let's get into it. How do we sacrifice? In order to achieve the goal you desire and sacrifice accordingly, step 1, define your goal. Define your goal. In order for you to actually strategize what you're sacrificing for, why you're sacrificing for it, what you're sacrificing within itself, and the end result that you plan to attain after your season of sacrifice. Because sacrificing is a season. We don't do it overnight. It doesn't just take one day. So first, you must define your goal. You cannot sacrifice to get where you want to be without knowing where you want to go. So define your goal. Personal or professional, it does not matter. If you're watching this live and you're bold enough to manifest your desires, I encourage you guys, go ahead and drop it in the comments. What's your current desire right now in life, in business, in entrepreneurship, in personal development? What is your current desire? I will start us off. My current desire right now is to maintain my momentum and protect my peace in my business at all times. At all times. I'll say that again. I want to maintain and protect my peace and my momentum in my business at all times. I have to execute every single day. So if anything is going to hinder me executing, I'm sacrificing that in this season of my life. I have to maintain my momentum. I have to be at peace. I love what I do, but I'm human. So if I'm not at peace and I'm not aligned with who I'm called to be, then I can get jaded. I can get out of alignment, and I will misbehave and misrepresent myself as anything other than an entrepreneurship coach. And I'm real intentional about how I represent me in this season of my life. So because of that, that's my goal. What's you guys' goal? Definitely drop it in the comments. Whether you catch it live, whether you catch the replay, drop it in the comments. Again, this is a community where we support one another. It's a community where we support one another. And it takes a leader. So drop it in the comments. For the sake of thoroughly teaching the concept to sacrificing and just planning and strategizing your season of sacrifice, I'm going to give 2 examples, and we're going to work these 2 examples throughout the process so that hopefully at the end of this video, you have the skill set to troubleshoot your strategy, or instead of troubleshoot, you have the skill set to compose a strategy to get you through the season of sacrifice, to get you to that desired goal. So I have a personal and professional example. Of course, on a personal tip, we all have family that either is engaged, want to be married, in a relationship. That's something that traditionally has held a high rank in our society. So because of that, get married. And there's a lot of benefits and perks to marriage. Let's not knock it. I definitely seek it myself. So we're not saying that. It's just we have to be intentional about planning for our desires. So marriage, that's the personal tip that we're going to talk about. That's the personal example. And then, of course, I'm an entrepreneurship coach. So on a professional tip, I'm going to help you guys strategize sacrificing a season to start that business. So we're sacrificing to start a business and to plan for marriage. Not to get the marriage, we're planning for it. The marriage has to find us, okay? So, first, define your goal. Our goal is starting a business and getting married. Assess your current thoughts, feelings, and behaviors about the goal. So, about marriage, how do you feel? How do you honor a married woman? How do you honor a married man? Do you look at them as boasting? Do you look at them as being prideful or bragging? Do you support them? Do you pry in their business, or are you respectful? Do you are you tempting? Are you tempting to a married woman or a married man? If they deny you, what would you do? How do you act? That's important when you are planning for marriage. Why? Because we have to remove the bad habits, the negative connotations. You don't want to enter your process of getting something with bad misrepresentation. So we're assessing our current thoughts, feelings, and behaviors about marriage. Do you feel nervous? Do you feel inadequate? Do you feel anxious? What else? That's marriage. As far as business, starting a business, how do you feel about that? Are you jealous of business owners? Do you get mad? Do you get bitter? Are you supportive of them? How do you act in the presence of a business owner? Are you competitive with a business owner? Meaning, if they offer credit repair, you want to, you offer credit repair, but my friend said you can do this to fix your credit and that's the best way. Do you know how to do that? You know, we all have those folk that know that that's your strong point, know that that's your skill set, know that that's what you do for a living, but they want to challenge you on that just so they can feel like they have one up. That's a problem. That's a problem. So if that's something that you've done when it comes to entrepreneurship, you need to change it. You need to change it. That's not good for leadership. That's not good karma. It's not good for starting your journey. So because of that, those are negative connotations that we must change and course correct fast if we want to start a business, because what comes around goes around now. So we're real intentional about what we put out there. We want to be fruitful and multiply. And I want to reap the harvest that I plant. Okay. So I'm not trying to plant no messiness, no nastiness. And I encourage you guys, make sure you're not planting any nastiness, no messiness. If it's not something you want done to you in your business, don't do it. If it's not something you want done to you in your marriage, write it off. Write it off. So, number 1, define your goal. Number 2, assess your current thoughts, feelings, and behaviors about that goal. Are you nosy? Do you pry? Are you encouraging to the married or to the business owners? Do they motivate you or do they irritate you? Those are valid questions to ask so that you can get to the bottom of why, so that you can actually course correct that in your season of sacrifice. Not to move too ahead in my notes. Number 3, research the requirements. Research the requirements and qualifications for your goal. Entrepreneurship, there is no qualification. It requires what it requires, which is a skill set, a demand for that skill set, service, product, whatever. And of course, money to actually fund the business to get it profitable. That's pretty much entrepreneurship. However, when it comes to marriage, it requires other things. So because of that, assess whether or not the requirements, the qualifications for your goal is a strength or weakness for you. And be honest as you do so. Be honest as you research the requirements and qualifications for that marriage. Be honest as you research the requirements and qualifications to start a business. Be honest as you research that so you can see what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, what skill sets you already possess, and what skill sets you will need to get. Why is that important? That's important because in your season of sacrifice, we're not sacrificing to sacrifice. We're sacrificing to accomplish the goal. So in sacrificing to accomplish the goal, we have to be intentional about assessing what we don't have. You may have the capital to start the business, but you don't know how to start the business. So in your season of sacrifice, you're teaching yourself and developing a skill of starting a business, knowing that process front to back, so that as you maneuver, it's with ease, it's with grace. That's the point. That's the point of the whole season of sacrifice. Hopefully by now it's all coming together. So, are you resourceful or solution driven like a business owner, or do you run from your problems? Are you patient enough for marriage, like a married woman or a married man? Are you struggling with emotional control? A marriage requires you sacrificing that struggle for emotional control. That struggle of emotional control, you have to sacrifice that so that you can actually be a partner that's willing to self-reflect and troubleshoot life as well. You have to learn how to navigate life with ease and peace and grace and poise in a marriage and in entrepreneurship. That's something that they have in common, actually. So number 1 was, yes, define the goal. Number 2, assess your current thoughts, feelings, and behaviors about that goal. Number 3, research the qualifications for that goal. Number 4, now you plan your season of sacrifice. Get you a journal. Get you a journal. I said on one of my previous videos, any thought, any feeling, any emotion that we don't give sound to, it gets louder, right? Any emotion, any thought, any feeling, if someone disrespects you and you don't speak to that, you're mad and it gets louder in your head. If you don't honor that voice, it's going to get louder until you blow up on somebody who was innocent. Okay? And we all have been there where maybe someone stepped on our toe and we went off on them like they're the one that stole our car this morning. No, you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional. And emotional control is your responsibility. Emotional control is your responsibility. So because of that, it's up to us to be intentional about not blowing up and not allowing so much to sit on us. We take it to bed with us. We don't handle it when we get up in the morning. We're carrying, like they say, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back because you carrying all this weight around with you. Your back hurting, you tired, you carry it to bed with you. So because of that, you're not sleeping good. It's up to us to give sound to all the mess that's floating in our head so that we can get it out. Get it out. Get it on paper. So for your season of sacrifice, it starts with a journal. Record and document every single part of the process. And this is also going to measure your progress during your process. In your journal, you'll write, I'm sacrificing for a marriage. I'm sacrificing for a business, to start a business. I'm required to have this for that marriage. I'm required to have that for that marriage. I must qualify in these ways. Write all of that. Generate a full list. That's important. That's important. Generate a full list. I currently lack and currently possess what? I currently lack and I currently possess what? This will help you in assessing what you need to work on during your season of sacrifice. So if you currently lack this and you currently possess that, I don't need to work on my patience because I'm a pretty patient person. I'm a pretty understanding person. But on the flip side of that, I just need to work on my communication a little bit better. So assess and record what you lack and what you possess. And your lack is what you focus on during your season of sacrifice. What you lack is what you focus on during your season of sacrifice. So from there, the very last statement that I'm going to provide you guys that you'll write, I need to learn or strengthen this list of lack, or at least most areas of the lack. I say most simply because as humans, we're not perfect. And I don't want to mislead you guys or have you guys putting too much pressure on yourself as if you have to strive for perfection. That's not the goal. The goal is to strive for excellence at all times, not perfection. So because of that, also in giving you guys the tools, resources, and understanding, you know how they say it takes 21 days to start a new habit? Current studies show that number has changed due to society and resources and the fast pace. We have more distractions in society today. So because of that, it takes a little longer to develop a skill, to formulate a habit. So with that, it takes 60 days now. The new number, the new record is 60 days. It's so crazy, but it makes sense because think about it. In our goals and saving money, when was the last time you actually accomplished it? You lost that weight, but how long did it take? You got the promotion, but what was the time frame? Okay, so because of that, know that it takes up to 60 days to actually develop a skill set or a habit in something. So provide yourself grace during your process. Provide yourself grace during your process. Last step. I've given you guys the steps on how to sacrifice a season and the season of sacrifice and how we surrender and submit to the process of sacrifice. You can't, unlike life, let's say this. Unlike life, you know how sometimes you may apply for a job and that job requires you to have a college degree. You have to have a degree. However, you're you don't have that degree. You're not degreed, but you have the skill set. You have the experience. And having that experience and that skill set, you qualify for that job. When it comes to our goals, it don't work like that. When it comes to entrepreneurship, it does not work like that. You can try to skip the step of finding your target audience, but when it comes time for you to make that sale and you're not selling to anybody because your spectrum is a bit too broad, okay? I'm just saying, when it comes to marriage, you can't plan for that marriage. You cannot plan for that marriage. And you're walking around as a dominant, masculine woman and you want to be perceived as ladylike. And I'm not talking at my women. I used to be that. I used to ride around with my radio on 25, music blasting, and it was some Lil Baby, Dub Baby, Megan. You know how we are. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. That used to be me. But that's exactly why I was attracting the style of folks in my life that I was attracting. I was out of alignment. Let's say that. I was out of alignment. So in that, I don't want my women to feel like I'm stepping on your toes. I'm introducing a new way for us to think so that we can actually get the things we want. As women, we can't walk around saying the N word every other sentence and expect a good high vibrational man to be in our lives and want to stay in our lives, and we're using a verbiage that's diminishing to their whole makeup. Just saying. Just saying. And that's something I had to learn for myself. You got to watch your mouth. For my men, we cannot keep misrepresenting ourselves as intentional, readily available, good catches when we know for sure we lack emotional control. We lack emotional control. We lack vulnerability, communication. Come on now. Women don't want to deal with that. Men don't want to deal with it. Nobody has to put up with anything. So be intentional about representing yourself in a way that attracts the thing you desire. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to teach and coach and do all these different things, you can't be seen running the same circle as everybody else. It may be tempting. It may be tempting, but you just can't do that. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you don't go out. That just means go out to the type of place that's reflective of who you are and what you do. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's it. You have to sacrifice. What do you sacrifice? You sacrifice anything that's detrimental to the beliefs, that's detrimental to your beliefs and your goal, your efforts of striving to achieve that goal. I'll say that one more time. Sacrifice anything that is not in alignment with your goal. Any bad behaviors, learned behaviors, poor habits, distractions to achieving your goals. That's what you sacrifice. Starting a business, you sacrifice the frivolous spending. You sacrifice going out all the time. You sacrifice being lazy. You sacrifice being complacent, stagnation. You sacrifice fitting in when you're in entrepreneurship. You don't fit in the crowd no more. You're the girl that went against the grain and started the business. You're the man that chose not to run the streets because you got too much to live for. You got to go against the grain, and you have to be comfortable with not fitting in. You won't always fit in. Honestly, I'm blessed to say I don't fit in. I know for sure I can't go anywhere and fit in. Who I am today, can't. And that's okay. But it's up to us to be intentional about having that demeanor. You got to act accordingly, and you got to be intentional. That's part of the process. That is part of the process. You have to sacrifice your company or time or hanging out. Anything that's impulsive, you have to sacrifice that. Your savings or not saving, you have to sacrifice to save. You have to sacrifice your tradition, traditionally speaking. Let's slow this thing down a little bit. Let's slow it down. For my entrepreneurs, who else has been going for about a good solid 10 hours? 10 hours. Like I said in last night's live, when you do something that you love, you can do it all day long and not get tired. When you do what you love, you can do it all day long and not get tired. So, what you sacrifice during your season, you sacrifice all of the distractions. You sacrifice anything that's detrimental to you achieving your goal. You sacrifice learned behaviors. You sacrifice bad behaviors. You sacrifice anything that's not beneficial and conducive to your success and your transformation. That is what you sacrifice. And in that season of sacrifice, you work on as many areas of lack as you can, okay? As many areas as you can. Now, in saying that, I don't want to misrepresent the process. Like I say, we must surrender to the process. And I made sure I put that in the title because that's part of the whole season of sacrificing. You're sacrificing to get back to alignment with that original, purest, creative version of yourself. You got to be creative to sustain that marriage. You have to be creative to sustain that business. So because of that, you're sacrificing to strengthen yourself in all the areas you lack. So you must first sacrifice by giving up the distractions. Then you sacrifice to strengthen the lack. That's what your season of sacrifice should look like. Educating yourself, working on your mind, your body, your soul, healing any brokenness, counteracting your deficiencies, strengthening your areas of lack, and that's what gets you to your goal. Like they say, the only thing that's stopping us from achieving our goals, that actual roadblock that has us bound, what's between myself and my goals is me. Let's make that clear. Let's make that clear. You haven't made those sales this month. Did you market? Did you automate your marketing? Did you strategize your marketing? Are your marketing based on your projections? Did you even do your projections? Like, it's a level of strategy that's required for life. It's a level of strategy that's required for entrepreneurship. Anything that requires sacrifice requires strategy, okay? Anything that requires sacrifice requires strategy, even if it's something that's not tangible. Spirituality. You have to sacrifice for spirituality. You got to sacrifice the distractions that get you out of alignment with your spirituality. And then you also, after sacrificing what keeps you out of alignment, you have to sacrifice and strategize your way through honoring spirituality. How are you going to do it? Is it going to be with webinars? Is it going to be with teaching? Is it going to be with reading the Bible? Like listening to gospel music? What is your method? What's your strategy? What's your strategy? Everything that requires sacrifice requires strategy. And that's where we go wrong. That's where we miss the mark. And that's where we get stagnant. And it's up to us to shift our narrative. It's up to us to be intentional. It's up to us to tap into the dominion and the authority that we have, because we all have it. We're no victims, we're survivors, but we keep going to bed with our problems, and it's time out. It's time out. So, with that being said, it's 9:22. I got about another solid hour of working. I'm going to keep going. This thing don't stop. It does not stop. Tomorrow, I will be doing a entrepreneurship Q&A. Let's just say this Q&A will be, it's pretty much entrepreneurship fundamentals, entrepreneurship 101. So that's really that. Of course, I'm an entrepreneurship coach. So like I say, I coach women and men through the process. I teach them the skill set of entrepreneurship. And I teach them how to navigate life personally and professionally. So while we're strategizing their plan for entrepreneurship, we're tackling the day-to-day problems in life, because life does not stop. Okay. So as I teach them this skill set and we coach, course correct, and develop for a 6-month program, after that 6-month program, they all have all the strategy, tools, support, and resources they need. If they need another session with me, that's fine. Small fee and you got your session. However, the information, the skill set is eternal. It's eternal. And every time I add to the program, they get in on it. So because of that, it is what it is. It is what it is. My mission has not stopped. My goal has not stopped. If anything, it is enhanced. Okay. So with that being said, I love you guys oh so much. I hope this live was conducive and informative for you guys' journey, you guys' success. I'm Cornisha. I'm an entrepreneurship coach. As I always say, I do it for you. I do it for me. I do it for us. It's a us thing all 2021 and 2022, because it's no longer 2021. Oh my word. So with that being said, I love y'all. I am out and I will see y'all later. Good night, good night, good night. And we are signing